Hello, very warm welcome to World Business Report. I'm Ben Bland. It seems Uber is never far from the headlines these days. Today it's both good and bad for the ride-hailing app that is trying to change the way that you and I travel. In fact, all of us. After months of speculation, it seems a group led by the Japanese tech giant SoftBank is finally going to submit a formal offer to buy a big stake in Uber. The ride-hailing app is valued at about $69 billion. As it's still a private company, that price is based on previous investments. If the deal led by SoftBank goes through, it would take control of at least 14% of the company. But SoftBank wants a discount of at least 30% on the shares that it buys. For those who are selling, it's a first real chance to cash out their investments. That would partially reflect Uber's problems, including the hacking of 57 million customer and driver details, which a European Union body is going to be looking at later. Seán Donnelly is a senior research analyst at eConsultancy. That's a marketing company focusing on helping digital firms to develop. Seán, welcome to World Business Report. Let's just quickly touch on the SoftBank potential investment. Is that, if they want this hefty discount of 30% on the value of the current value of shares, on the one hand, that's almost a bit of a hit to Uber, but on the other, can they really do without such big investment? That's
a good question. I think the truth of this, Ben, is that actually this isn't actually a surprise to Uber, so while it's news to us, because as you know, there was a data breach at Uber which was announced last week. But actually Uber let SoftBank know about this about a month ago. So this kind of discount, this 30% discount on the valuation of the company, this was actually approved by Uber's new CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, a month ago. In terms of can they do without this, that's the key question, because obviously Uber is in turmoil with a lot of different regulators around the world, and they're really trying to clean up their business culture. So it looks as if they need this money to get their house in order. Turning to the European Union body that's going to be looking at this data breach, the 57 million customer and driver details that were hacked, and the fact Uber didn't come clean about it and try to pay off the, well, they paid off the hackers, did $100,000 to delete the data. How worried do you think Uber is going to be by the EU looking into this, if at all? I would suggest that Uber are quite worried about this. So I guess that there's two ways of looking at this. There's Uber's reputation with consumers, and will people keep using it? And clearly, with a lot of the news that has come out in the last year or two, people are still using Uber. But at the same time, Uber is on a campaign to kind of massage the PR with regulators around the world, because to date, they've kind of circumvented a lot of regulators. So right now, they're trying to take a more collaborative approach, but I'd suggest that they're probably quite worried about how regulators will respond to that. There's another question there, though. There's the EU General Data Protection Regulation, and this comes into play next May 2018. What does that mean? Because it sounds quite technical. It sounds quite technical. Let's get into the spirit of this. The GDPR, as it's called, this is about protecting citizen data. So it's basically about you have data that's available online that you've shared with different companies, and so do I. And this is actually about getting companies to comply with regulations, basically to respect our data privacy rights. Now, in this case, clearly Uber hasn't done that. One, there was a data breach from two hackers outside the company. And then two, there's this spectacular lack of judgment that they kind of swept this under the carpet. So in terms of how Uber have dealt with that, they haven't really taken a respected consumers, but they're trying to clean that up. In terms of GDPR, this isn't actually just about Uber. In actual fact, this is about every business. So GDPR applies to every citizen in the EU and people who are working and traveling in the EU, that their data is protected. So that means companies need to take have proper procedures to make sure that data is safe and secure. Okay, Seán, thanks very much for talking us through that. Seán Donnelly there from eConsultancy.